Hi everyone, so we're going to be looking at how we can set up a form in Next.js. So let me just go to my desktop and I'll say npx create next app, and I'll just say form, or I'll say Next.js form, enter. And I'm going to say no to everything, no, 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 no. And what I'll do is just drag and drop this over when it's done. And I'm going to go into my styles, globals.css, and I'm just going to get rid of stuff at the root and just make it empty for now. And I will go to the home.module.css, delete everything under the main, and I'll just make this 20 view height for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to be adding a few colors here at the root of my project. I already have them predefined, so I'm just going to copy them over. I'm going to have an aqua color, blue, and a light gray. So I'm just going to save that here at the root, which is in the globals.css file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my pages index.js, and I'm just going to clean up this area. I'm going to delete this inter. And that should be good for starting. So I'm just going to save that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder at the root of my project, and I'm going to make components. And I'm going to make another folder inside the components. It's going to be called form. And then I'll make the index.js. And then I'll make the form.module.css. And I'll just set up the index.js for the form. And for the form, I will first set up the form before I add any logic. So let me do that first. I'm going to add some class names as well, because we're going to stylize it. And I have to import styles from form outer container. And I'll add a field set. And inside this field set, this is where I'm going to have a legend. And it's just like a title, say, please fill out the form. And maybe I want also some sort of label for some input values. So I'll say we want to add a first name. And then we want to now add our input, which is a self-closing tag for input fields. And we can have some sort of ID if we want to stylize it later, or call it. So I'm going to add more things to it a little bit later. I'll start with that first. And I'll add a label, and this will be for email. Make a self-closing tag for the input. Email input. And I'll put type is equal to email. And what I'll do for now is, because this is not really a fully functioning form, I'm just going to for now add the button outside of the form, or else it could cause issues later down the road when you create something but the form is not fully set up. So I'm just going to put the button there, and I'll just say submit. And I'm just going to run this just so I could see what it looks like on the page. And before I run it, I have to go to my home page and I have to import the form component, and then I'll add the form tag. There we go. And then I can do npm run dev. So this is what the form currently looks like. And let's say I want to stylize some areas on the form so it looks a little bit more personalized. So I'm going to go back to my index.js. And because I already set up all of the styles already, I'm just going to start adding the CSS directly in here. So for the form outer container, we're going to be using flex in order to stylize it. I want to do flex direction because like I want one thing per row, and I'm going to have it as a column, so one item per row, and then align items center. And dot form container display just by content center. And I'll stylize the form as well. I'm going to put a field set. Padding of 30 pixels. Border 2 pixel solid var. I'm going to put the aqua color that I set up at the root, and a max width and I will also stylize the email portion. I want to make it 100% of the width and just display my block. First name input, width of 50%. And we can add this thing called focus, so whenever we click on the input field, then we can have it as outline of none. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So before I show you what I mean, I have to add the rest of the styles. I'm going to add dot email input focus as well. And dot email input, I'll say width of 100%. And what I'm also going to do is within the field set, I'm going to say I'm going to target the legend. And what I'll do is I'll have just a font size. So these font sizes as well, we could put these font sizes at our root as well. So what I could actually do is in globals.css, I could have, let's say we have something called regular font. So I could then put font. So the font size we're going to have is 20 pixels. So now I could just call this regular font. I'm going to go back to the form, and here I could put var using the regular font, and then margin bottom 30 pixels. And then also in the field set, let's say I want to, so dot field set, I'll also target the input field and have a width of 100%, 6 pixels, 10 pixel, margin, 10 pixels, 0. I'm going to get rid of the border, but I'll have a border bottom only, 2 pixel, solid var, and I'll make it blue. And I also have a background color, which I'll use for my globals as well. And this is going to be a light gray. Box sizing, border box. Okay, so let me just take a look what it looks like online first. Okay, so I just had to fix a few things. I just went to the first name input and I changed the width to 100% because I want the input field to be on its own line. And then I made this field set with a capital S for set, and then I updated just that wording right there. Now this should work. So if I save it, and I'm going to show you what I see in my browser. You can see here that I have the form now. I have this field where we can add our first name and our email, and I could type things in here, and if I just keep typing, you can see I can submit as well, and we got a nice little form. So that's how we set up the basic visual of the form.